Right, let's move on to our fourth game, and we shall let's go for the one on Sunday, the one that you missed, shall we? It's Kilmarnock 2, Aberdeen 0. Kyle Vassell scoring deep into first half stoppage time, and then Marley Watkins getting the second. I mean, the stats for this back up exactly what I saw watching the game. 19 shots for Kilmarnock, 5 for Aberdeen, 8 shots on target, 1 for Aberdeen.
You knew there was nothing more certain than when the full-time whistle went during the week for Aberdeen that they were losing this game.
Yeah.
I was like, there is no way they're going to have their head back in the game in time for this, to play a team like Kilmarnock as well. Like a hard team to play away from home.
Yes, and we're again going back to the kind of tiredness thing. We've seen it last season with Hearts. We're seeing it this season with Aberdeen. We saw it with Hibs and Hearts in August. Mm-hmm. Clubs playing after playing on the Thursday and then having to play on the Sunday. It just seems whether it's mental, whether it's physical, whether it's a combination of both, they just aren't anywhere near at their best. I mean, you kind of feel like it's almost an excuse for Upsall because they've also been not at their best at other times. But they did seem like they had turned a bit of a corner. And then recently, it's kind of all just gone to shit a bit again. And they were really bad on Saturday. Like, yeah, you're right. It's probably a case of their heads were just up their arse after that collapse on Thursday, and they're also knackered as well. But like so many, because Kilmarnock are the worst team to play against in that sense. But you're also thinking like it's a team that Aberdeen should match up fairly well against if you're going away from home to try and win a point. Like Killy's, the best thing about Killy's team is their kind of physical kind of front play, with Kyle Vassell just being an absolute nightmare for opposing defenders to play against. Marley Watkins, a bit similar in terms of the fact he's decent in the air, but he's also going to got that quickness and movement around the place. And they too, but Aberdeen have got 3 behemoths at the back. 3 absolutely massive guys, and all 3 of them got ragdolled.
I saw them. I was watching the Pout game, and I was really impressed with them for the first hour. That back 3, I was like, right, I'm getting it now. This is what they've all been brought on for. They're getting more organised. Is this flip to some changing? And then the next thing I'm seeing Jensen fall on his face. try to tackle with his head. And then I'm hearing like they're getting battered by fucking Marley Watkins, who I know is strong, but you know what I mean, these guys are fucking massive. I mean, Rubizik is like a henchman from a B movie. Like he's absolutely massive. So there's no reason anyone should be getting back. People should have the fear of God when they play against the Aberdeen team, but it doesn't seem to be coming.
David Watson ruled the midfield. The back 3, Lewis Mayo had, like, Duke done nothing, again, as he's been doing for pretty much most of the season. Miofsky was very poor as well. Mayo had them completely sorted along, helped out by Finlay and Joe Wright, who were also decent as well. David Watson just ruled the midfield area. Graham Shinney, it just feels like one every 5 games he's got a classic Graham Shinney game in him, but other than that, it just isn't coming as often, whether that's age or whatever. I don't know, but
that age and what they're asking him to do, because he's like a linchpin of the team with these constant games. He's never had to do that in his career. He's never really been playing in Europe.
Yeah, well, that's true.
And he had the. I bet he did play in England where it's like they play in Europe, because they just play in that English Championship. There's no training whatsoever. Everyone just plays football.
No tactics.
It's great. Look at a brilliant league to play in. Just not a game, is it? Right, class. I'll play.
Connor Barron was very poor. Like he was quite non-existent, and that's maybe the worst I've seen of him play recently. Nicky Devlin had a bit of a torrid time for Matty Kennedy. The only battle I could really see Aberdeen winning all game was Jack McKenzie had Danny Armstrong in his back pocket in the first half, and he got taken off at half time.
Was that an injury?
I don't know. I don't think it was, but I think it was they needed a bit more attacking impetus, so they brought on Ryan Duncan instead. But then it meant that Danny Armstrong just had a much better second half.
Yeah. And that's one of their best players.
Yeah, so it was just it was a horror show for Aberdeen, and we've not really spent much time on it, but I don't think there's too much more to say about this game. It's a familiar thing for Aberdeen, and I think you could only say is it really, without Mbada, it's like, I know that Craig Anderson and Scott McClymont, who's in our chat as well from the podcast stuff he done for us 7 years ago or something, before he started working for Kilmarnock, and then he's moved on since then. But they were both a bit worried that Corey and Daba was going to be out, because that was what really made the back 3 work earlier in the season. But it was worked again. Like I say, Kennedy was very good at left wing back, so if they can keep that going, then this is the balance I think that's the best of this Kelly team, to play that back 3 and to...
What's happened to Robbie Dees?
Well,
his form dipped a bit?
Ask-
Because it was a shame, because I mean, there was...
I asked Craig this on last week's show, and he was basically saying he just felt that the best balance of the back three included Joe Wright instead of him, in terms of what they can kind of each bring individually. And he's, because Finley's like the left-sided defender, and so is Dees, and Finley's probably been a bit better than Dees this season, and like Mayo's just been played so well, and Wright also brings that just a bit more height as well. But Wright did get injured, and Dees came on. So if Wright's out for any length of time, you imagine you'll see Dees in the next game.
There's a lot of... It's a decent balance with the Kennedy and Armstrong.
Yeah.
Like with wing-backs, because they've got Lions.
They've got Lyons and Watson in the midfield to do a lot of running for.
Yeah. So it's not like it doesn't leave them overly exposed. And the fact is, with the back three, is they're all defenders. It's like, so, like, I know I was criticising they not having real footballers in certain bits. So, but it's, again, it's different because...
I think it matters too much with Kelly when they're just going to knock it long to Vassell, anyway.
Yeah, anyway, yeah. So like, that's you're going to play it, and then you've got and you're still getting your wide players in because you want your wide players because you've got Vassell up front. So the whole team's built around what Vassell needs.
Vassell's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's great. It makes no sense. His career makes no sense.
I know.
Because it's like he's done about 30 clubs, and he's not even that old, is he? And now he's like the captain of Kilmarnock.
See, I thought he was a wee bit older than he was thought. Let's have a just quick check of that. Kyle Vassell, he's 30.
30. It's not that old.
I know,
For 19 clubs.
Fuck, I didn't realise it was quite that many.
So
Jesus
it's like it doesn't. So now, but it's like he's found a place to sell, and the one time he finds somebody to sell, he becomes the captain. It's like
I saw somebody said in the chat he came over from San Diego Loyal. I thought that was like a joke, like it was like a San Diego, and then it was like a Rangers like name or something. No, it's actually San Diego Loyal.
So like, it's wild that he's sort of settled here. He's probably played his best football in his career, and then he becomes a captain. And it looks like he might be here for like a good few years. Somebody finally, lovely for Kyle. He finds a home.
Lovely for Kyle.
Finds a wee home in Ayrshire by the beach.